All right, welcome to News 6 Extra. I am Christopher Heath. Hey, we made it. It's Friday. The work week is coming to an end. As Loverboy said, everybody's working for the weekend. Kathleen, how you feeling? It's Friday. We're here. We made it.
I know. That's what I was thinking. We finally made it. Feels like it's been a long week for me.
For whatever reason, I've been quizzing people today of their favorite song, either with Friday in the title or about Friday. I already quoted Loverboy, so that one's off the table. And I'm going to ban Rebecca Black with Friday. Friday, everyone gets down on Friday.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's the only one that comes to mind.
You got The Cure. It's Friday, I'm in love.
Okay. That's true.
What else? I guess Blink 182, What's My Age Again? Starts off, I took her out. It was a Friday night.
Okay.
Alone, get the feeling right.
I remember that one. That can count. We'll go with that one.
You know what? Use the Google machine in front of you. See if you can find a better one. We'll get David Nazario in here and let him weigh in on my Friday tirade. Okay. David, favorite Friday song? I gave you a little bit of a runway on this one. What are you thinking? Where are you at?
So there's an artist or a band called Crazy Lix, Lix. I'm a big Scary Movie fan, and I used to love the Friday the 13th game, and it's literally called Friday Night. It's based on Friday the 13th, but I mean, it sings about Friday night, so I would think that counts. It's great to jam out to on a long ride home.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have the Friday in the title. It can just generally be about the end of the week. You know, getting excited, getting excited for back to school on Monday and getting excited for what is supposed to be, I'm guessing, a pretty rainy weekend headed our way, as well as there's doings a transpiring out in the Atlantic. So take us through what we're looking at out there.
Copy that, Chris. Well, good morning or good afternoon to everybody out there. Thanks for tuning in and happy Friday. I will openly admit I'm super stoked. It is Friday, the last Friday of summer vacation from what it sounds like. Talk on the town, everyone gearing up for back to school. Let's get you outside to the radar now, though. We are already starting to see things popping up. It's going to be a sporty next few days here in Central Florida, and our thunderstorm, let alone heavy rain chances, are definitely on the rise. I'm going to walk you through every piece of that equation. Let's go ahead and zoom out first, though, and introduce you to some water vapor satellite here. So if you notice, we've gotten rid of a lot of those darker shades of black, brown, rusty colors indicating dry air on the satellite image. And now we're starting to see a lot more of the whites and several pockets of the blue shades on both our coastlines. Believe it or not, as Chris alluded to, you could kind of call this phase one of the tropics trying to stir some trouble up. Obviously, you know, there's no named storm. We don't even have a yellow blip off our coast, but this was a previous tropical wave that models were trying to latch onto during its earlier pieces or earlier phases in the Atlantic that may have tried to spin up. Thankfully, it hasn't, but it's definitely going to rain down on us this weekend, but that does come with some good news. Good news and bad news. I'm a big proponent of it's always a give and take with Mother Nature, always. Here's a look at your temperatures outside right now. You can see we're not even close to 90 just yet. So a noticeable well, actually, I lied. Excuse me. Titusville there. You're sneaking in under the radar. Excuse me. Titusville rocking at 90 degrees with a bit of what's called a gradient between Titusville and, for example, Cape Canaveral, a 7-degree difference there. The rest of us in Central Florida are floating in the mid to upper 80s. The Villages looks to top out at 90 here momentarily soon. Rocking at 89 degrees right now as we speak. The heat index, on the other hand, noticeably cooler. So we're a little bit closer now in terms of the actual air temperature and what it'll feel like to us out there, which is part of that good news we've been kind of advertising for much of the week. We're finally seeing the moisture building in, and you can see temperatures are starting to drop. And remember, for those of you tuning in for the first time on this Friday afternoon, this temperature change is not how much we've literally changed over 24 hours, but in comparison to this time yesterday, are we warmer or cooler than 12:34 Thursday afternoon? You can see everybody across the board minus Lakeland. We're still continuing to see those nudges southward in terms of the thermostat outside that we feel whenever we step out the door. rain chances are continuing to balloon up. You can see it's a little funny. It's showing the East Coast is lacking in terms of overall rainfall coverage. Not everybody in portions of southern Volusia and Brevard County are going to see the rain today. It's further north you go where we're going to see those thunderstorms continue to ignite. They're already hanging out with us. And I'll go ahead and take us full screen real quick so we can walk you through hour by hour. Here's our latest in-house model, doing a pretty good job when you compare the 12 o'clock time frame at the top there underneath the banner clouds and rain in comparison to what I showed you on the live radar. We're already capturing certain features out there pretty well. And as we go towards the warmest part of the day, look what happens. We're kind of just like a bubbling pot of hot water this afternoon. We're going to see things peppering up everywhere from southern Brevard, the upper periphery of Osceola and Polk counties, and it looks like the Villages could be in for some chop later this afternoon as those thunderstorms really get going. And then they continue to expand from there. Notice they're racing off towards the west. By about 6 p.m., we could be seeing some pretty strong thunderstorms and very heavy rainfall totals piling up for our western counties from the Gainesville area through Ocala, the Villages, Lake and Sumter, and then my neck of the woods between Haines City and Polk County and Lakeland, Florida. Then we're going to finally see some things taper off, maybe some leftover thunderstorms overnight. That's been the song and dance all week before we peter off into just garden variety showers. And then tomorrow, earlier start. As soon as the sun comes up, we can get the atmosphere to reset. You'll see what happens here. Once we get towards the lunch hour on your Saturday, bam. East Coast onshore flow is going to get cooking, and then by noon, we're already seeing the eastern sides of our viewing area firing up with those thunderstorms, all thanks to that tropical wave adding a little bit of extra moisture to our already fairly moist, for those of you who don't like that word, environment. Now, WPC Weather Prediction Center does in fact have us for a marginal risk for excessive rainfall. When they say excessive rainfall, this could lead to substantial roadway ponding, which could be a little treacherous out there if you're driving around continuing on with your final preparations for the school week ahead, or it could lead to flash flooding. There's a difference between heavy rain just coming down all at once and excessive rain, meaning we just can't get rid of it fast enough. You can see the day of tomorrow, that coverage expands ever so slightly into further portions of Orange, Osceola, and northern Brevard County. You take a look at our in-house model, and you can see over the next 24 to 36 hours, some of us could get anywhere in the realm from 2 to even 4 inches of rainfall, depending on if you win the lottery in terms of those heavier rain showers plopping themselves down overhead. Some of us still haven't gotten a drop of rain. That could be changing with that tropical wave adding a bit more aggressiveness to the pattern, but we'll go ahead and wait and see. Watch it real time, as I like to say. Now, going to try to fast pace through this so I don't take up too much of your time, but the tropics we are watching. I honestly anticipate by 2 o'clock, if not 8 p.m. at the very latest, I'm giving National Hurricane Center a break here, we're going to have a third AOI on this chart. Our two current areas of interest, the lemon off the northeast coast and then the orange in the central Atlantic, we've seen development chances go down, which is good news, but could also influence what happens out there in the greater Atlantic as we see more tropical waves coming off the west coast of Africa. You take a look here, and we have 96L fairly naked, not wearing a lot of thunderstorms this afternoon, all thanks to that Saharan air layer coming off to its northeast. But then we have two more juiced up tropical waves, all thanks to our MJO finally establishing itself overhead. If you'd like a crash course on what the Madden-Julian oscillation is, make sure you do a quick search over on clickorlando.com. We're going to watch this one very closely, though, to tell you the truth. If you take a look at our Euro probabilities, not only are we continuing to see these things perk up, now up to an 80% chance we have at least a tropical depression by next Thursday moving towards the Leeward Islands of the Eastern Caribbean. But if we don't get 96L to do anything out there, we allow that Atlantic high pressure to build back in. And as a result, at least during the first 5 or so days of its life cycle out there, it will generally track off towards the west, if not the west-northwest. So we're going to be monitoring this, and we're going to be putting out a lot more in the way of tropical updates between now and the end of next week. And thankfully, we have a lot of lead time before this settles in overhead. So I'm going to be watching that very closely. And I will openly admit I completely forgot to revamp the 7-day forecast, so we're just going to wrap up right there. Temperatures are going to continue to descend ever so slightly, and our rain chances are definitely going to start to be on the up and up starting today and through about next Tuesday.
And I know, David, everybody, or those of us that are, looking at Monday with back to school, eyeballing, what's it going to look like in the morning, especially if you're driving the kids to school or you're taking them down to the bus stop. And then, when they get out in the afternoon, obviously, as we get closer to Monday, we'll be able to pinpoint those, hour by hour a little bit better, but definitely something to keep an eye on through the weekend, correct?
Yes, definitely. We'll have all the latest for you. Michelle and Samara will be leading the charge in terms of your back to school forecast as we rock through Saturday and Sunday. Where we stand right now, it seems to be a rinse, lather, and repeat type of pattern for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We could just see a greater buildup of our afternoon thunderstorms when we get to about the 2 to 5 p.m. time frame. So perhaps headed out the door should be okay, especially for those who have to catch the bus. But then in the afternoon, definitely be prepared if need be. We'll have more information for that as we go over the next 24, 36 hours.
Yeah, so if you're going to take that cute little photo, the kid holding up my first day of first grade, maybe get it knocked out in the morning. Don't wait for the afternoon. It could be a little soggy. All right, David, thanks a bunch. Well, to a bit of a scare in an Orange County neighborhood, this is an interesting story. Hazmat gets called in, and it all traces back to a viral video that blew up on TikTok. And millions of people saw this video, and then all of a sudden the hazmat from Orange County shows up at this house, and a lot of questions involving this. Troy Campbell was out there speaking with some neighbors and explains what we know about what went down in Orange County.
We watched for hours as emergency crews surrounded that home here on Aberton Court in Orlando. This comes after a man says he was racially profiled in the front yard in a now viral video.
I think it's uncalled for.
Hasim Khan says he watched on as first responders surrounded his neighbor's house on Aberton Court Thursday.
With all the fire trucks, all the police, all the law enforcement, ambulance.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office says crews were called to a suspicious package, but after further investigation, it was deemed safe. However, one person was still taken to the hospital. Describe the scene out here to me.
It's a lot going on right now. Just a lot of police officers, the K-9s, at this house that went viral.
While we were on scene, it didn't take long for neighbors to begin talking about this viral social media video that Ontavious Johnson says had more than 13 million views before it was deleted on TikTok. Would it surprise you if we find out in the end that somebody did look up this address and send them anything? What's your reaction to hearing they have this suspicious package?
With that, yeah, I don't know nothing about it, and then I'm like, wow, like, it's crazy.
Johnson says he recorded the video back on July 29th, showing the moments after he knocked on the front door of the home while working for a solar utility company.
Come back again, we're hanging.
Before she even said something back, her husband came. She called her husband downstairs, He came outside calling me all types of get off his property. He'll hang me, cussing me out. The wife flicking me off, calling me all types of.
And then what happened once they saw you were recording?
So once they saw me was recording, the names got worse. I try to avoid it, go over to the next neighbor house. Didn't go well. They followed me over to the next door neighbor house.
Johnson says the support online following the video has been overwhelming. What has it kind of been like in the time that's passed since this has happened?
So I read the internet. I don't really go out as much. I'm not working right now, but I'm likely looking for jobs. It's hard for me to sleep trying to get my mind off of the situation that had happened.
What are you hoping for the future?
I just want, change to happen.
And we knocked on the door of the home, but the person who answered said they had no comment for us. And again, the Orange County Sheriff's Office says the suspicious package was deemed safe. In Orlando, I'm your community correspondent, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Well, it's the last weekend of freedom, at least if you're in, grade school for most of Central Florida. School heads back on Monday. Of course, not all school heads back on Monday. A couple of counties don't start up till midweek, but, for most of Central Florida, Monday is the day. Back to school, back at it. My college kids don't come back for another week, but that's a whole nother story. I've got to finish writing that syllabus anyway. But this means it's the last weekend for the schools to get themselves ready, to get everything put in place, because it all goes live on Monday. Mark Lehman was out in Orange County this morning talking to school leaders about what exactly they have planned for this weekend as they get ready for Monday.
Orange County school leaders meeting here at Dr. Phillips High School, where they say they're prepared for a busy start to the school year on Monday. It's happening as the district is celebrating a lot of accomplishments, but is also facing changes and challenges. As today's back to school news conference got underway, OCPS says they're going into a second straight school year listed as an A-rated district. This comes as Orange County is seeing more than 3,000 fewer students this year. A factor in that is families moving to private education through Florida's school voucher program. That enrollment drop has led to a $27 million reduction in funding, which prompted the district to put a 4-year pause on new school construction. OCPS also hired a recruitment firm to try and bring families back to the district. Today, I asked the superintendent for an update on those efforts.
We have some very preliminary numbers that indicate that we have recouped families that had left OCPS. We are going to have actual numbers by the end of the first 2 weeks when we confirm after the 10-day count. But right now, it looks like we've recouped a couple of hundred families to come back.
OCPS is also rolling out a few new communication apps, including one called Safer Watch, which allows school employees to call for a medical emergency or initiate a lockdown by the touch of a button. Of course, safety is the top priority, and with that, drivers are urged to slow down and be alert on Monday as students are heading back to school. In Orange County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
I'm going to bring in a special guest here. She doesn't even know this is happening. Kat, do you want to be on News 6 Extra?
What is this?
Well, I'm introducing your story here.
Oh, okay.
She's just not going to be on camera.
I'm gonna walk.
Kat's going to walk through the background as I introduce her own story. This was your chance to introduce your story to the people watching News 6 Extra.
Preview.
Oh, we have a preview. This is what's coming up tonight. We have another super speeder, but no, we're talking about State Road 46 and all that's going on with it.
Oh, the speed limit's lower.
Yes, they're going to lower the speed limit. You know what, Kat? Thank you. Here's Kat, other Kat.
I'm Catherine Silver, Sanford's community correspondent. We're driving on State Road 46, headed towards downtown Sanford, just over the bridge. And the first thing you see is all of this construction. If you've driven through here recently, you might have noticed a change, and it has to do with the speed limit. The stretch between Persimmon to French Avenue is now 35 miles an hour. It used to be up to 45 here. So if you haven't noticed already, slow down. The second thing you may see here is how this area is changing to become more pedestrian and bike friendly. There are mid-block crossings. They're more prominent now, designed to catch your attention as you drive. And there's these curb ramps. If you drive here, you've probably noticed these already. Sanford Police posted about this project on their Facebook page, and there's already comments about them sticking out. One person wrote, "Almost got sideswiped last week by someone trying to avoid the new curbs that come out into the road." Did you notice the lower speed limit and the new crossings?
I haven't, no.
Now FDOT is adding buffered bike lanes. They've also eliminated on-street parking in some parts of this stretch to make it safer for people who do walk or bike here. You see a lot of people walk and bike here?
Yeah.
When these crossings do open, police want people to use them, and drivers will have to stop for people when they do. And there will still be alternating lane closures throughout this stretch this week as construction continues. The entire project should be finished early next year. In Sanford, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
See, this is why you don't want to walk through the newsroom when I'm hosting this show, right, Kathleen? Because you never know. Any given moment,
That's true.
if I spot you, to put you on.
That's true. And we have several reporters that are in here.
We do.
So,
Matt Austin was walking by, and he spotted me at his desk, and I think was kind of wondering, what's going on over there? You better put everything back where you found it, buddy.
I try to leave it neat when I'm over there.
Yes, of course. You don't want. I mean, he's got a lot of Florida State stuff over here, which he wouldn't miss that if it disappeared. Nobody would.
No, he would be sad.
Throwing some shit. He would be sad. All right. We'll go to break here. We'll come back and we'll talk about some movie auction stuff. We'll see you in a couple seconds. All right, we're back to News 6 Extra. Matt's lingering over here to the side to make sure I don't steal anything off his desk. He's going to count the pennies in this cup when he gets back. All right. So the big Hollywood auction is upon us. And whether you've wanted a piece of Hollywood memorabilia or you want some particular thing from some movie that means something to you, maybe you want the cane from Citizen Kane. It's a Simpsons reference. It's all up for auction this weekend. CBS's Tina Kraus has this report.
It's the famous film franchise that has captured generations, featuring the legendary weapon every Star Wars fan wishes they could hold. Now's their chance as Darth Vader's original lightsaber goes up for auction.
I actually flew over from Los Angeles with this in my hand luggage, which was a little bit nerve-wracking.
The piece of galactic history is showcased in London ahead of the sale in LA next month, where it's expected to fetch up to $3 million. And there's more from the dark side.
In my hands, I have the Dark Lord Sauron's helmet from The Lord of the Rings.
A piece likely to draw a six-figure bid. Money fans say would be well spent.
I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan, have been since I was a kid. It's my everything. I would give up my life, my child and my wife, I'd give them up to live in the Shire.
The auction includes more than 1,000 collectibles.
Here we have the Hero Close-Up Neuralizer from Men in Black. And it's got the light at the back, so when you push the button, it flashes red, and then you fry everyone's brains.
From playful props,
it's a very cool thing,
to classic costumes.
Jane Fonda's costume from Barbarella.
It's all up for grabs for those looking to claim a piece of movie magic. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
All right, Kathy, what are you thinking? Because okay, there's a little bit of movie trivia here. The lightsaber was actually a flash gun for a flash bulb for a camera. They just broke it off there and they're like, just, rework this and there you go. That's what it originally was. And they just did a little bit of slight modification to it. So the mask of Sauron.
Okay.
Ooh, that's yeah, I may have to dip into the 401k for that one. I read all those books when I was a kid. And when the movie came out, I was so excited because Sauron's never really described per se. In his earlier form, yes, but it's anyway, the way they described it there and in the movie and the way it looked, it was just, I don't know. That's me. What about you? Anything in there tickling the old fancy?
I like the lightsaber. I think that's a good investment. That has good resale value. Would you hate me if I said I've never seen The Lord of the Rings?
All right, the show's over. Thank you. We'll never be back again. You don't have to.
That's it.
I think, you know what, it's one of those things where I've never seen the movie Titanic.
Okay.
So, I know how it ends.
That is true.
Yeah, I've never seen Titanic. I've got friends who've never seen the Godfather movies. It's, sometimes you miss these things and you just never quite get back around to them. But do try and watch the original trilogy. You don't have to see the prequels or the subsequent, but Fellowship through, the Two Towers to the Return of the King, all of it fantastic. Okay. Director's cuts too.
I will put that on the weekend to-do list.
Speaking of weekend to-do list, listen, a good segue there. Michelle Morgan has our 6 things to do, or if you're Kathleen, 7 things to do. Check this out.
I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan here at Florida's tallest lighthouse, Ponce Inlet Lighthouse, that is, where National Lighthouse Day will be celebrated right here on Saturday with special events, of course. Rain is in the forecast this weekend, but don't cancel your plans just yet. I spoke with the Director of Operations, Mike Bennett, about what you can expect.
We'll have workshops, we have some kids crafts, we have at 1 o'clock a historic lecture about the history of the nation's 12 National Historic Landmark lighthouses, which our lighthouse is one of.
The event is from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Looking for another option to beat the heat and rain? In Leesburg, tour the historic Mott Morris House this Saturday from 10 to 2. Also open every second and fourth Saturday through November. Enjoy a day of empowerment and fun at Kissimmee Women's Day, happening at the Bev Event Center, starting at 10 a.m. The free event features chair massages, hairstyling, mini facials, makeup tips, and more. Join the Daytona Beach Cleanup Sunday at 8:30 a.m. Rain or shine, bring water, sunscreen, and your positive energy. Supplies will be provided. This weekend, free kids admission at Central Florida Zoo, all August. kids get in free with the purchase of an adult ticket. Here's a cool event to enjoy before school starts. Fun Day Sunday at Orlando Speed World. It's a family-friendly day of drag racing, food, drinks, and awesome cars. Doors open at 9 a.m. Bring sunscreen and an umbrella. Have a fun event happening next weekend? Tell me about it. Head over to our News 6 app or clickorlando.com. Just click Contact Us.
All right, so Kathleen, Michelle popped into my office right before we started taping, and she says to me, "Did you see my 6 things yet?" And I said, "No, I've got it in my show here. I'll see it live on the program." And she's like, "I almost fell off the lighthouse."
Oh my goodness.
She's like, "It was so windy up there," and I was like, "Okay." And you could hear that in her microphone.
You could.
The wind, yeah. You ever been up to the top of one of those things?
I haven't. That's another thing I have to put on the list.
We're just adding so much to your
I know.
plate here. It's a spiral staircase, as you might imagine, and if you don't you can get pretty dizzy going up all those stairs. It just wraps around the whole way till you get to the top, but it is fun to do, and really there's a bunch of them up and down Florida's coast, so worth checking out.
That is something. That is something that would be cool to check out.
See the Lord of the Rings. Right. Go check out a lighthouse.
Correct.
If I need to talk to Daniel and get you some vacation time, we'll get this done.
Okay, perfect.
Life's all about priorities.
And this is a priority.
It's a priority, yes. All right, Kathy, thank you always for all of your hard work. And thank you for watching News 6 Extra. We'll be back here on Monday to do this all over again at 12:30. But in the meantime, News 6 will be on the air at 4 o'clock starting today. And, of course, over the weekend, make sure you tune in to us both on air and online as we get that forecast ready for you and everything you need to know to get the kids ready for the first day of back to school. I'm Christopher Heath, and as always, thanks for watching. See you back here Monday. Bye.
We'll be right back.